Well, I have to say, man, now that I started this video, I think I'm starting to like Codex more. He's much more to the point. He can orchestrate much better. It's actually impressive how much he can orchestrate. Look, this was a session with Codex, right? You can see I need to remove this orange little icon. It's clickable as it is. We don't need this. Orange is Claude, and then blue is Codex. Then this orange is redundant because it's like, yeah, do we need a chevron? No, we don't really need, because we already see that it has something inside of it. So that numbers already indicates, so we don't need the chevron. Well, let me just do it right now. Hey Claude, good morning. Take a look at our left panel where the chat archive is. I'll show you a screenshot. We have orchestrator chats, and orchestrator chats, they already signal about the fact that they have something inside because they have the number showing. So we don't need that orange chevron to the left at all, because it's already obvious that it's clickable and expandable because of the number. So let's remove the chevron, and then it will be easier to see who is Codex and who is Claude just by the icons that we already have. Here is the screenshot. By the way, to anyone who is listening, I will always say here is the screenshot at the end, because you already know. If you work with Claude for a long time, you already know that you can talk about a screenshot, attach it, and then he's like, I'm ready for the screenshot. Ready, show it to me whenever you're ready. And you're like, I sent it to you, didn't you see it? And he's like, no, I didn't see it. And in reality, he can actually, if he'll try harder, usually he will see it, but depends on the platform as well, I guess. Depends on the desktop app. Here we did as much as possible so that he will not miss it, but I'm still doing it out of habit. When he receives a screenshot, he also receives the path to that screenshot, and it's hidden in the UI, but he has that. So even if for some reason he didn't see the screenshot, he can just go grab it from the path where the screenshot is. For example, right now it's on my desktop, right? So yeah, talking about Codex, about the orchestrator. Okay, let me get back. Yeah, so what I wanted to say is that I can't believe that I'm saying this, but yes, I think I like Codex more, especially for orchestration. I did want to talk about orchestrator. That's what I promised in my last video. So let me actually close this corner real quick. Let's talk about orchestration. You need 1 million context if you want to work with Claude as an orchestrator, because by the time he will read the skill, will get oriented, he will send 1 or 2 mini chats. By that time, he will already be close to like 150 or something like this, or 100. And by the time he will read a few chats, he will be too heavy. And then he will either need to hand off, which is more spending on context, either he will need to compact, which I also thought it's a cool idea to give him the decision when to compact, because once again he can do it at a seam, at a concrete seam. That's why I suggest, if you're working with Claude as the orchestrator, work with 1 million context, flip it here, model, Claude, extended context, which I think we should just make it the default, to be honest. Yeah, it should be the default. And it's up to you when you want to compact or handoff. But once again, a handoff is always better. A handoff, you get to decide what's actually going out. Also, you can, just a quick tip, you can talk to the compacting instance. You can say what you want to be compacted, and then you can send that message, and even your assistant can confirm, and then you click compact, and then the compacting instance arrives and it says, okay, those guys want me to compact only that stuff, or they want me to compact in such a way that will help them keep going to that specific goal. Not everything that we did is relevant, right? You can say, okay, compact in such a way that will help us to keep going in that specific direction that we just chose. Because you know how it is. You can work in a chat and then you can switch to something else in the middle of it, and then the context that you started with is irrelevant. It's not relevant anymore. Which, by the way, reminds me of the context trim skill, which deserves its own video or something. But maybe my editor can make a short out of it. So yeah, Codex or Claude, you can make a short out of this specific video that I'm about to record. Context trim skill. Who is it good for? Context trim is good for especially beginners or people that don't have their Claude MD and Project Claude MD written with a lot of rules yet. They don't have the philosophy of how they work and the rules of how everything should be. So those people, and I was like that as well. That's why I built the context trim. I'm not using it as much right now because all of my rules are already written, so it's easy for me to hand off and start fresh. But a lot of new people, all they have when they start is just one chat. So everything, all of their understanding and the AI's understanding of the user, it's all in this chat. So starting a new chat from scratch feels like losing all of that work. And a lot of the times you don't want to do this, and also you feel like this chat is not exactly carrying something that you can put in the Claude.md and it will carry over. You feel like you have a lot of precious context, especially when you get to know the model, when you're not starting to work specifically. So, and because you are not doing work and you are not doing code work, even 200,000 tokens of context is actually a lot for a conversation. You can learn a lot about the AI and how it works and like whatever you need just by talking. So by that time, you kind of want to stay in that one conversation. You don't want to go away. So then you use the context stream. Instead of manually deleting messages, which you can do, or hide them from context, which you can do, you can ask the session to context trim everything that you don't want in the context. So for example, I don't know, let's say you talked about your rules and then you asked the session to web research something. And then now it has a lot of context about that web research. Now you already have the information that you need from the web research, but maybe you don't need it in your Claude MD. So you can just context stream. That way the session can go back from 200,000 back to 70,000 or 100,000. It has everything that you need, but the context is lighter. And the context stream is actually smart. It's not just deleting or hiding. It has also the option so that Claude or Codex can take this entire turn and summarize this into just one sentence, which will also help the next session to achieve the goal that you want to achieve next. So before you context stream, you say, okay, let's context stream and then do this and that. And now the session knows how to trim the context better. It's almost like compression or compaction, but in real time and in this chat and in a way you control it. And your chat history still stays and you can reference it. And yeah, it's much better than compaction because you get to control it. Or the handoff is also very good. You tell the session exactly what to hand off and it writes a brief, opens a new chat automatically, and you just keep going. But then you always have some compaction, some loss, right? So that gets us back to the orchestrator, which is a problem if you're working with 200,000 tokens. You're going to get compactions constantly. And I feel like you will hit it too soon. Codex is much more efficient. He can do much more. He can work with much more chats. You can even see that in the chats panel. That's why I went here, right? You can see like 15 chats, 9 chats, 27 chats. But here you go, you can see Codex 50, 100, just like easy. But it's not about numbers, of course. It's just something visual that I can show you right now. But just from past month from working, yeah, Codex is much more efficient. Way more efficient. You can even see this by my use. I used up Codex and yeah, I need to wait 1 day for it to reset. So I used Codex much more than Claude. Yeah, I almost can't believe I'm saying this. It's a little bit... I was kind of a Claude fanboy when I started. I even built Valo at the beginning. I thought I'll just make something that will work with Claude only. Let me just focus on Claude. But then, yeah, it's not enough time. It's not enough time if you are actually building something every day, all day. So then I needed Codex as well. And now I find that Codex is actually... It's like, it's not as expressive. It's not... You know, I would still suggest to a beginner, I would still suggest Claude because he's like more expressive. It's more fun to talk to him, I guess. Although if you say to Codex that you want to talk and you want him to be expressive, he'll just do it. Claude is just like this naturally. But if you want work done, man, yeah, Codex is much more efficient, especially as the orchestrator. That's, yeah, not even close. Like 5 times better at orchestrating. Crazy. Whatever, let me go back. Let's see, how do we decide this? Okay, let's tie it. The only way, 2 facts that actually matter. A file changed and someone asked. Nothing else is real. Oh, that's... You know what? Wait, you know what, Claude? I like it. Maybe not even a file changed. A file changed that will constantly run the script. But someone asked. Wait, but that will mean that by the time you ask, it's no longer... When you're... Yeah, it's like... There will be a bunch of stale files. Unless... Wait. You ask for the nerve map. It's super fast, right? Well, you don't have the perception of time anyway, so what do you care? So you ask for the nerve map. Instead of the nerve map giving you the result, it's going to rerun real quick and then tell you the result. That's it. And we never worry about it, right? And that's it. Well, anyway, we need to hand off. Yeah, 1 second rebuild is invisible to me and for the user. Sorry, for Claude and the user. Or Codex and the user. But wait, Claude, I think this session is too heavy already. We are above 200,000. Let's just, let's write a handoff. Use the handoff skill so that a fresh session will actually build it. Oh wait, you have some questions, I see. Let me answer them first and then we can hand off fresh. In plain terms, your idea works and the part I said was blocking it turns out to be mostly built already. There is a private line from the tool back to the app. Wait. The part I said was blocking turns out to be mostly built. I don't feel like going and reading what you said. I'll just read the plain terms. There is a private line from the tool back to the app, and it's the same one that ran in the indexing you watched finish. 3 wrinkles that line currently hangs up without waiting for the job to finish. Codex fires 4 questions at once, so it must... yeah, that's true. Codex... By the way, that's something else about Codex that he's doing differently. He can fire up multiple sessions at once and multiple commands at once. That's pretty cool. So it mustn't rebuild 4 times. I see. He can query the nerve map in 4 different ways. So those 4 different commands have to wait for the stuff to be finished. I see. And it should skip the rebuild entirely when nothing changed. Should it? Isn't it just... I mean, I see what you're saying, but should it really... It's another complexity, and it's another script that will check if anything changed or not, and it's another second we have to wait. Just run it, and that's it. Just run it. Who cares? Right? Am I right or am I wrong? All solvable net result is what you described. The map is never stale because it refreshes at the exact moment somebody looks at it. You know what? This is such a great idea that maybe we... Should we split the nerve map from the index right now? Because... No, wait, yeah, we should. Waiting for the index to use Valo Search is out of the question. Forget I said that. Let's move on. Let's hand off. Okay, while I'm waiting for the reply, let me talk to Codex or Claude, whoever is editing this video. I think this video should be a full video. You can edit out boring chunks, but mainly keep it full. And then also make shorts out of it. I think there will be material for a bunch of shorts out of this video. Now let me read what the session is saying. You're right, and for a better reason than you gave. Skip the check, always rebuild. Your argument was, it's another second, who cares, mine is stronger. A staleness check can be wrong. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's extra complexity. Yeah, miss one changed file and you silently reintroduce the exact bug you're fixing. Always rebuild can't be wrong. Yeah. Also doing the data layout migration right now, making sure that all of the personal settings, all of the personal agents, skills, all live in the Valo user data folder instead of shoving it into the hidden app data folder, instead of shoving chats into some folder that is being deleted every 90 days like Anthropic is doing. Instead of shoving it into some app data folder that is hidden on disk C, like Codex is doing. And then when you copy your project, none of your personal settings, none of your personal workflows are there. Absolutely ridiculous. And it takes a long time. Also, I want to make sure that the Valo user data folder itself is organized properly. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the Valo user data, and this is not even organized yet. You see there is too many loose files and it's looking like a mess. Has to be beautiful for the user and for the AI. So everything will be properly organized. Everything. And by the way, for example, let me show you. If you go, first of all, if you want to migrate the name you gave to your folder that you chose, where your chats and settings and all of that stuff is going to be, you can copy it and start on any machine. Doesn't matter, everything will just work. That's the goal of this. Your chats, your agents, your skills, your Valo settings, everything. So if I go to projects, for example, and I go to Valo, search for Valo-chats. Where is it? Here it is, Valo-chats. This is all of my chats are here. All of the, everything here. Every project is here in the user data folder. And then all of the settings are also here. Handoff is written. One question before I open the tab. Asking in plain text, since you mentioned ask user question doesn't work in this chat. Oh my god, this is so funny. This is so funny. This is so funny, Claude. Ask user question doesn't work in a mini chat for the orchestrator. I guess someone that handed off. Yeah, you were handed off and then someone told you by mistake. I guess it was Claude that was heavy on context. Once again, that's the problem with it's like I feel like Codex is being compacted more efficiently. Or maybe I should just try to use the compaction with Claude more. Maybe I should give Claude more chances with compacting and orchestrating, but I don't know. I feel like it will be janky. Anyway, sorry, this is not this is not something that you need to know about. It's just that I noticed that, yeah, Claude is doing much more mistakes, especially when the context is getting heavy. But orchestration needs the context. I was also hoping that orchestration doesn't do code work, it's only doing text work, which is not as heavy feeling as code work. I thought it will be better, but no. It's like Claude is struggling with orchestration. Those small little details, like handing off. Maybe the orchestrator skill is not exactly... Yeah, maybe the orchestrator skill. You know what? Can you help me? Can you take a look into the orchestrator skill? Does it say... Okay, I know exactly what it says. It says when you open a mini chat, you tell it to not use the ask user tool. But when you hand off to a peer orchestrator, or if you hand off to a fresh new chat, that rule is not applying anymore. It's the same as when you remove the notifications, right? When you open mini chats, you have notifications, which is a flag on by default, but when you open a handoff or a peer orchestrator, you have to turn off that notification. Let's make sure that it's... Let's make sure that the orchestrator skill doesn't have any tension while we are at it. Now, you can auto-send, so because we already answered everything, I think. Quick summary, okay, yeah. You can auto-send, and then we can remove the tension from the orchestrator skill, because mini chats and handoffs and peer orchestrators are different things. Okay, lazy nerve map started. Remove chevron was done. The little orange arrow on orchestrator rows is gone. Does the job, and with the arrow, blah blah blah. Good. Can archive. This session started working. Yeah, that's pretty much self-contained. Thank you, Claude. After you are done, you can run the appropriate pipeline agents over this, just to make sure that everything is good. The pipeline agents are 5 agents. I think it's even 6 right now with the UX UI agent. So I just say the appropriate because, yeah, obviously we don't need a UX agent on this mechanical work. Found it, and exactly what you described. 2 places, same copy paste class, tension 1. The closure says every brief must end with. Got it. Got it. And bundles the ask user question disclaimer into it. Yeah, but that disclaimer is a mini chat fact. It got shipped to me in a full tab. Yep. Tension number 2. For a full tab, rare. Same. Omit mini. Same. Silently carries. Both wrong for a peer. Okay, now, can you tell me if a concept page fired right now telling you how to change rules in skills? Because that's something that we did yesterday and I never tested it for sure. Did it fire? I don't think it did. Or maybe it did and Claude just ignored it. Oh yeah, probably. We are heavy on context as well. I almost forgot. Yeah, we need to close it soon. Oh yes, it fired. Nice. 4 separate times, and the right page was in there. Here's the honest accounting, including the part that doesn't flatter me. What fired? On my read on the skill, and again on each of the 3 edits. So 4 times total. Oh, maybe that's too much. Skill creation. Bang on. This is the one you're asking about. Claude guide sync. Borderline. Its trigger does name, skill, and edit the repo source. Never Claude was relevant. The skill creation summary said precisely the thing you'd want it to say. Editing existing rules can silently swap a removed line for its negation. Nice, nice. We have it. Good, 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 good. I was editing rules, not typos, so the trigger applied. Nice. Now the uncomfortable part. I did not open the page. Here we go. Yep. Heavy on context. That's probably the reason as well. I registered the summary and kept going, but that page owner trigger, I should have read it. And you're right that I normally announce when blah 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 blah. In plain terms, yes, it worked. The memory system spotted I was editing a skill, which is exactly what you built it to do yesterday. The problems though, 4 pages popped up when really only 1 was relevant, and one of them fired despite its own note saying skip this case. Interesting. And when 4 warnings appear and 3 don't apply, you learn to ignore all 4. That's true. That's true, Claude. Yeah, when everything fires and it's not relevant, you just learn to ignore it. Also, the context was heavy already. So, okay, I bet you have ideas on how to improve it. You know what? Let's hand it off fresh to another session as well, so we can discuss how we can improve the Valo Memory Code for skill creation, concept pages, right? Also, you detected somewhere where it's borderline and where we can improve it, right? Let's just open a fresh session and think on how can we improve it. Because all of that stuff is basically the, funny enough, the nerve map of the relationship, right? All of the skills and all of that stuff, all of the rules. Because we are working on the nerve map, lazy nerve map. That was the handoff, right here in this session. So we are working on the nerves of Valo. Can't wait to get everything stable and all of the data layout migration and all of that stuff, so I can focus on just polishing and doing delightful things and making sure that everything is, what's the word, intuitive? Yeah. By the way, Claude can already control the app with screen control. He can open the settings, he can change settings, he can flip through the left panel, he can do everything you can do with your keyboard and mouse pretty much. So if you need any setting, if you need any help with anything, you can just ask the assistant. It's not polished 100% already, but it's working. And screen control works with anything, a browser, anything, Discord, whatever you want, any application. It's working just like it would for a blind person through accessibility. Also have Valo browser, which is context efficient browser built on top of Playwright, but it's actually good for the AI. Okay, nice. Now we can close this one. The honest note I put in there. Okay, blah blah. Let's just go here. I'll just read the suggestions and then we will go from there. The nuts just fired on me live. 4 pages on the hook file, 1 on the concept page. Good, that was a fresh data point. Yeah, when a fresh session can focus on just something simple, it's the best. That's where you can polish it truly and make it good. If you want to actually go a step above and make it perfect, you do it manually. you open skills and you actually edit them manually yourself. There is nothing beating that. Not only because you are in control of everything, you can make it context efficient and small and short and mean exactly what you mean, but also the session will know that you wrote it manually. It will take it much more seriously. It's not looking like one more instruction, you know, because you know that it's like they don't have to train for that. They can pretty much tell the difference between AI generated text and human written text. It's just the same as you go and you talk to Claude with an empty session, empty context, no project. You will get cold attitude. But if you are working with a session with an assistant, Claude or Codex, doesn't matter, and you have a big project going on, you have a lot of information around it, you will see that they talked to you completely differently. Which makes sense, right? It's not nothing special. If you just imagine that this is it will behave like a person would, then everything becomes so easy and simple. It's just a blind developer. It's just a blind entity that read all of the books and the entire internet, and then it went blind from information overload, and now it can help you with stuff. Okay, I'll keep this short and sweet. I think this was enough for today. I'm getting kind of bored. There is nothing else to solve. Or should I press pause and just come back when there is something? I guess so, yeah. Let me get back when there is something to think about. Okay, wait. While I was walking around, I had another idea. Hi Claude, can you tell me if when you call Valo Search, when you use Valo Search, do you see how many files are waiting to be indexed? Because in my UI, I see how many files are waiting to be indexed and how many files are indexed already. I think you should see the same stuff when you call the index, especially now that you are in charge of pressing the index button and indexing the map when you feel like it, or whatever you feel like something is missing. But how can you know that if it's not telling you that? Can you check real quick and tell me if you see that information when you use Valo Search? Let me take a screenshot. I'll just show what I'm seeing. Yeah, like this. Wait, let me show more context with the beautiful map. What I actually get back: search results only, no index count. That's bad. The number exists, it just never reaches me. LOL. Let's see the meme. Searching an index that 60 files stale. This is fine. Exactly. Yeah. Want me to build it? Of course I want you to build it. Thank you so much. Of course I want you to build it. Take a look at the screenshot at our beautiful map. It deserves an assistant that knows the state of the that knows the state of things. Sorry, Claude. You should have had that information long time ago. Sorry about that. Let's do it. Let's build it. Yeah, that way the assistant will be able to judge the quality of the search that he is getting back. And it will explain if something is not being found. But the assistant will probably not press index and then wait for it to be re-indexed. He will just probably search for it with grep and bash and all of that, glob, all of those. Man, I can't believe it, man. I forgot about it completely. I even forgot why I even built Valo Search one day. When I started working in Anthropic desktop app, it's like, oh, I got reminded immediately. You load up the project and then you're like, okay, Claude, let's do this and that, and then you see glob, 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 grep, grep, grep. It's like, what is going on, man? And then you talk to the assistant and he's like, well, yeah, I have a hard time finding it and I have to search for it and I have to this and that, and just build Valo Search, and to this day we improve it to make sure every new model that comes as well, I'm like, okay, tell me, let's do auditing, let's see what we can improve, tell me what you think we can improve, how do you see it, what annoys you, what doesn't annoy you, even with small models, because small models can bring up a lot of tension as well. Okay, yeah, I think that's it for this video. Let's keep it 40 minutes of total recording, and then Claude and Codex will maybe edit it. Maybe it will be a little bit shorter, maybe 30 minutes or something, I don't know. Well, whatever. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.